deals principally with the Manu avatars and the Lord's sportive manifestation in some of them for the establishment of dharma and the redemption of the devotees. So many avatars have come down. So Manu avatar will be taught in the first chapter. What we start now? 7, 8.1 in the first chapter. Oh, then it should be 8th book. 8th skanda, 8th book, chapter number 1, 1. But it has 24 such chapters. So please write it. 8th book, number 8, or skanda, chapter 1, verse number 1 we will read. But this is not the verse yet, but it is the preamble. So it says, gives the idea, the first chapter, really, this is to be understood, this is the first chapter of the skanda number 8 skanda. 8 skanda is the value, that first chapter, first verse, 8.1.1. That should be the way to say. The first chapter deals principally talking about the Manu avatars, Manna avatar, and how the Lord sported in this manifestation in some of them for the establishment of dharma. So God comes again and again to establish dharma. They will describe that in the first chapter and how it redeems the devotees in suffering. Manu avatar, Manna avatar, is one of the 10 themes of Puranas. Manu avatar means the epoch of Manu. Manna avatar means Manu. A Manu is a patriarch endowed with divine power, who is the instrument of the divinity for directing the orderly progress of the world during a long period of about 30.8 crores of human years. Baba. 30.8 crores of human years. Our year is 1 year. So Manu directed the universe for 30.8 crores, means how many million? 30 1 crore is how much? 1 crore is 10 million. 10 millions times, say 30. How much? 30 into 10, 300. 308 million. 308 millions of human births. We have to be born 308 million times. That is the range with one Manu. That's why people say these are all stories. How someone will be living for 30.308 million human years. There are 14 Manus during a Brahma's daytime. Oh, Baba. And Brahma then lives 14 times that, only 1 day. 1 day of Brahma is equal to 308 million years of us. I'm 83 years old, so they will know 308 million years is one Manu's range. And what is Brahma? Brahma who created Manus? Manu is created by Brahma. So Brahma is how much? There are 14 Manus during Brahma's 1 day time. 14 times that will be 1 day of Brahma. And now he lives 100 years. 365 times 100. It is beyond calculation. The theory of the Manu Avatar and the Kalpas have been discussed in detail in the general introduction of Volume 1 and also in the chapter 13 and 14 of this book afterwards. Now, the important incident that took place in the first three Manu avatars were described in the earlier skandhas. Here, fourth, 14 Manus will be one day of Brahma. Only one day he is looking. It is time is so relative that 14 I can't forget all this. Heavy calculation is necessary. 308 million years of human being that will give you one Manu. And Manu, how many Manus? 14 Manus time period. One Manu born, he gone. Another Manu born, he gone. That will be one day of Brahma. Now Brahma will be living for 100 years. Brahma, that means that million of human years multiplied by 365 days makes 1 year, multiplied by 100 years. So that will be the only one Brahma's lifetime. So these are 14 Manus during Brahma's daytime of 1,000 divine years. Manu's daytime of 1,000 divine years. The theory of the Manu Avatara and Kalpas, already we discussed. The important incidents that took place in the first three Manu Avatars were described in the earlier skandhas. Now we are in the eighth skandha, where the fourth Manu Avatara, namely Tamasa, is referred to, and the Lord's manifestation in it are described in chapters 2 to 4. The most important incident described in the well-known story of the liberation of the elephant king or Gajendra from a curse. So the most interesting story is the story of Gajendra. Gaja means elephant. Indra, the Lord. So the most important incident described in the story in liberation of the elephant king or Gajendra from a curse. Gajendra, his redemption is an example of how the Lord saves one who takes refuge in him absolutely, forlorn and helpless. Every kind of self-effort and the effort of others having failed to save. So it indicates that how the Gajendra, he was helplessly surrendering to God, and that total surrender make him that total absolutely dedicated, and then he got the experience. The narration is also remarkable for the great hymn on the divine. This great hymn is Gajendra Stava, how he prayed to God. That is an history, and that is the most important part of this narration. So narration is also remarkable for the great hymn on the divine as the impersonal that occurs in it. From the chapter 5 to chapter 12, the great event of the churning of the milk ocean, along with the incidents preceding it described. So, chapter up to fourth chapter, this will be the description, and mainly it's Gajendra, who is the devoted to Lord God, how he was totally, he himself surrendered totally, that has been described. And for the chapter number 5, up to the 12th chapter, the great event of the churning of the milk ocean, along with the incidents preceding it, that is described. Now, before the story is taken up in the 5th chapter and the 6th Manu avatars, those of Raivata and Chakshusha are referred to. It was in the 6th Manu avatar of Chakshusha that the above event took place. The outline of the story is this. As a result of the curse of the sage Durvasa, the Devas lost their prowess and celestial glory and were overcome and expelled from the heaven by the Asuras headed by Bali. Boli, that is the story of the Boli. It says this chapter, outline of the story of this is this Manu Avatara, which is this fifth chapter onward. It says that there was a curse, Durvasa. Durvasa is a king we know. He was a Brahmagyani, but he's angry with Brahmagyani. It is said how a Brahmagyani can be angry. But he is angry because his karma may be prarabdha, because he has realized God. But old samskara, the trajectory of old life is going on. No? In between, it is going in this direction. Someone realizes God, he is illumined, but the trajectory will not stop. So it is going in the same direction. So the anger comes out occasionally, but he is uninvolved. As Vasudeva said, I didn't eat anything. Oh, Ma Jamuna, get parted so that we can walk through. So similarly,
the shape of the rope is there, but the rope cannot tie.
Yeah, when they burn, no, there is a snake even, and they burn there. You can see the shape of the snake also, or the rope, whatever example you are giving. But it makes an shape only, but it has no power. It is powder. So their anger does not affect them. But why they are angry? There is another suggestion. Why Brahmagani should be angry with me? Being angry with me is taking away my karma, it is grace. With that anger, he's taking away my sins. Anyhow, so say something wrong done, so the Durvasa, curse of sage Durvasa, Durvasa cursed this gods and goddesses for their misconduct something. And they lost them, then gods all lost the power because he's a Brahmagyani par excellence, whatever comes out of his mouth, it will be true. So Devas lost prowess and celestial glory, their own power and the beauty, all this is lost, and were overcome and expelled from heaven. How they are expelled? Asuras. Asuras throw them out. Always it happens. Good people, bad people always struggle, no? Bad people take the position, sometimes good people take this. So when the bad people take position, naturally the gods will be out, good people will be very much in trouble. So they're overcome and expelled from heaven by the Asuras. And who was the head of the Asuras? Bali was one of the head of the Asuras. To recover it, a strategy was suggested to them. Then they said, oh, please forgive us, oh Durvasa, please kindly forgive us our mistakes. Don't curse us. And they say, what is the way out? But I have cursed and you will have to get out. So they all got out and then they gave the direction. Durvasa gave this idea. They were to make a truce and be reconciled with the Asuras for the time being and make a joint effort with them to churn the milk ocean and obtain Amrita, the immortal drink from it. So, what can you do? Deva and Ashura. So, you two join together to churn the ocean. And then nectar will come out. And those who will drink the nectar, they will be eternal. So that is the way you can go back to your own heavenly abode. So, in the immortal drink, when their joint effort succeeded and they obtained the immortal drink, the Devas were to deprive the Asuras of it and consume the whole to themselves. Naturally, Devas were more intelligent. And after the churning, when Amrita or nectar came out, so they wanted to eat totally, not to give one drop to the Asuras, because if the Asuras get, they will be immortal. So they drank all, consumed to themselves. The plan succeeded, rendered invincible by consuming the eternal, immortal drink. The Devas were able to defeat the Asuras and recover their old glory and status. So after eating that, the churning of the Samudra Manthan they call it's the churning of the ocean. When they got this milk and the Devas ate stealthily, they managed to avoid the Asuras to get it. So naturally they become immortal. Now how much fight goes on, Asuras can never win because their immortality and their mortality. So it will die. So that is the way the infuriated Asuras then declared war on the Devas. Then the negotiation was there. Durvasa said, okay, I cursed, but you two people now bring out Amrita, nectar, by churning the ocean, and whoever will be eating that, they'll be immortal. So they will go to heaven, and those who will not go, they will go to the rebirth, etc. So ultimately, the Devas got very intelligently took away, stole the nectar and drank for themselves, and they didn't get anything. Kumbh Mela means that it is said that Kumbh, the container of what is called the nectar, this came out of the churning of the, was placed there. That's why that place become holy. It is one of the thought.
It spilled some drops.
Spilled, no, spilled, or some say that they put that while carrying, they put that in the Haridwar, and not Haridwar.
No, they put it in the pitcher, and then when he was running away, hide from the Asura, 4 places he some drop. Okay.
See?
Ujjaini, Nasik, Haridwar, Prayag.
Ujjain, Nasik, Haridwar, and Prayag. And that's why there the Kumbh Mela happens. Kumbh Mela. Mela means the festivity centering around Kumbh. Kumbh means the container of this nectar. The ancient legend. That's why these 4 places? Because as you heard now that the pot was carried and something spilled here, something spilled there, and those are the holy places, eternal. That's why those places. That's why people go to take a dip to be eternal. And the same spirit. That's why in the cold winter, toughest of the season, the Kumbh Mela happens.
That's and Maha Sankranti time.
It's not cold season.
Winter solstice.
So now when it happened, then Asuras got mad. What? We took equal share in churning the ocean, and the nectar come, and they have stolen and left and didn't give us our share. So let us fight. So the Asuras again infuriated. The infuriated Asuras declared war against the Devas. Okay, let us fight with you. A fierce battle ensued in which the Asuras were determined by the rejuvenated Devas. The narrative is noted for the very highly poetical description of the emergence of Sri, Mother Lakshmi, otherwise called Rama. So out of churning of that, there came emergence of the Mother, Divine Mother, who is called Rama, from the milk ocean. 2 incarnations of Mahavishnu took place in connection with these incidents. Those are tortoise and as Mohini, the world bewitching maiden. Baba, I don't understand much. In chapters 13 and 14, the epoch of the later 7 of the 14 Manus are described. So 7 Manus, the later 7 of the first 7 has been described, and in the chapter 13, they start describing about the rest of the Manus. The part of the Manus in world governance. Manus are the who governs the entire. Brahma does not do himself. He has his assistants. The Manus are the assistants. Manus are born out of Brahmas. So Brahma created them to rule all the details of management. So they are called the Manus in world of governance. And the relation between the 14 Manu Avataro and the daytime of Brahma are discussed. So one daytime of Brahma, as we just said, is so many human years of existence. A daytime of Brahma, known as Kalpa, one day of Brahma, he lives 100 years, like we human being. Most of the people are now living up to 100. But one day is only 24 hours for us. But for Brahma, a daytime is how much? 380 million. I forgot the calculation. One day of Brahma.
14 Manus.
14 Manus will come and go. That makes one day of Brahma.
Each Manu is 308.
Each Manu is 380 million human years. We will be living for 380 millions of year calculation of human calculation. That times 14 will make a day of one day of Brahma.
It's 4.32 billion human years.
Which one?
One day of Brahma.
So we are thinking so much of the AI overview. 4.32 billion human years. One day of Brahma representing the active creation period, which is equally long night. Oh, daytime is only 4.3 billion of human years. And nighttime will be another 4.32 billion of years. Baba, 8.64 billion years for a full day and night of a Brahma. One day means 24 hours. Is only 4.64 billion human years. Baba re Baba. What shall we do with that? So, do you want to live in this world like that, Brahmas, or you want to get liberation? Main thing is that this long period of time is divided into 14 Manu avatars. So, a day of Brahma, known as Kalpa, is 432 million. এখানে million বলছে কেন? They are wrong. Here they say a day of Brahma, known as Kalpa, is 432 million human years. এখানে বলছে
432. So that is why it is billion 4.2 there. 4.32.
Oh, there is 4.3.
4.32 billion.
Oh, that's why 432 million means 4.32 billion. Baba. This long period of time is divided into 14 Manu avatars. This period, one day, so it is 14 Manu avatars. Now, next from the chapter 14 to chapter 23 is described a great event that took place in the 7th Manu avatar, the ruler of Manu known as Vaivasvata. In the 14th chapter, this is the story. The incident is the resting of the three worlds from Mahabali by Mahavishnu in his incarnation as the Vamana in order to help the gods whose fortune had again declined under the fresh attack of Mahabali, who had been revived and made invincible by the sacrificial rites which his teacher Shukra made him perform. The Devas took refuge again at the feet of Mahavishnu, who incarnated himself as Vamana Avatar, the dwarf Brahmachari. The famous story of how he measured the three worlds with 2 steps, and for the third had to place his foot on Mahabali's head is described. So there is the description. The dwarf Brahmin appeared and Mahabali was powerful Asura, but he has this truthfulness. He was a great giver. So anyone goes and asks for anything, he will give. And then the God Lord came in the shape of a small boy, very short-heighted Bhamana. Bhamana means short height. He is not grown to height. And then he said, you are a giver of what, will you give what I ask? Well, yes, I will give you what you want. Well, I want only 3 steps of ground. 3 steps of ground. Well, 3 steps, you name more than what 3 steps? I will give you so much. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. He thought that. But now the Lord God, when he agreed, became suddenly big. So 1 foot take the entire earth.
Heaven.
Another foot take the heaven. And he said, Bali, this is your kingdom is this earth and heaven. No. So I got in two of my feet, it is covered. Where shall I put the third leg, third feet? Put it on his head. So this is called the Bhamana avatar, the story. That means God, Lord appeared to destroy the ego of Mahabali, even the good guy. He wanted to give charity. There is a pride, I am a big giver. But then he said, where shall I? So third leg feet was put on the head of the Mahabali. And that is the way everything has gone from Mahabali. So the gods now restored into their kingdom again. Like Baba, is of these beautiful stories, but very difficult to remember.
But he comes back once a year.
Every year.
And Mahabali is very respected. That's why we have Mahabalipuram.
Mahabalipuram, right. What happened there, I do not know. Anyhow, many instructive lessons on mortality and spiritual life are expounded in the narrative and the hymns of this chapter. So in this chapter, many beautiful spiritual instructions has been mentioned and narration has been given in this. The lesson is inculcated that before the Lord truly blesses a devotee, he puts him to severe trials to efface his pride of wealth and position. So Mahabali's wealth and position, God took away. Mahabali, though generous and truthful by nature, was proud of his wealth and generosity, forgetting that all wealth of the Lord of the world belongs to the Lord. He scoffed at the Lord for asking for a ridiculous pittance of 3 feet of land. He soon realized that before the infinite puissance of the Lord, his own power and prosperity were almost insignificant entities. After he was chastened by a defeat and humiliation, he was rewarded by being made the master of paradise of the nether worlds, with the prospect of being made the Indra of the 8th Manu Avatara, headed by Savarni. It is pointed out that in helping the Devas against the Asuras, Mahavishnu is not showing any partiality to these devotees as against his opponents. He is the same to all, but there is what is called the ebb and flow of the time-piece spirit in the life of living beings. So in God is impartial, but in the time life's journey and ups and downs goes on, sometimes favorable, sometimes not favorable. When a favorable time comes, it appears to the observer that Mahavishnu is helping one section and against the other person who is helpless. In the 24th and last chapter of this Skanda, Naimittika Pralayo, intermediary deluge that occurred at the end of the day of Brahma in every previous kalpa is described. Like we go to sleep, what happens? Night time, the entire concept of the world is all consumed into sleep. So similarly, Brahma, when he goes to sleep, entire world is deluged. That's the concept, and you get everything becomes flooded, water. and the whole world gets submerged into a slumber. No created being is there, all swept away by flood. So that occurred at the end of the day of Brahma in the previous kalpa is described. Satyabrata, a pious king, found a fish in his hands while keeping them cupped for holding water during his evening prayer. The fish was Mahavishnu himself, the incarnated fish, which was Vedic wisdom embodied, offered to guide Satyabrata to the pralaya waters. He imparted his wisdom to Satyabrata as he tugged Satyabrata's boat through the waters of deluge. This Satyabrata was destined to become the seventh Manu Vaivasvata in the new Kalpa that began with the incarnation as the fish. The age in which we are living fall in the epoch of Vishwabrata. That means the seventh Manu. Now we are in the seventh Manu. Baba, to read this is difficult because it is all stories of how we'll try to read them. So now let us go to read the book number 8. Prathama Adhyaya is first chapter, and is the 4 Manu avatars description. Who are the 4 Manu avatars? Swayambhuva, the first Manu. The name of the first avatar is named as Swayambhuva. Swayambhuva. The king Parikshit said, verse number 1, on page 297, Raja Parikshit, the king Parikshit said, we have heard from you about from whom? From Shukadeva. Let us go back to the story where it began. Shukadeva appeared, King Parikshit was on the deathbed. His life was set 7 days more to live in the world, and the snake will come and bite and you will die. It was the curse of the Rishi. Rishi's child, not Rishi, Rishi's child. So he gave up all kingdom and he went into Naimisharanya. Now even you can find the name is available. You go to visit India, you can find the place Naimisharanya. So the king Parikshit gave up his kingdom and just went to die there in Naimisharanya. It is a holy place. The sages and sadhus did austerity and practice. So he was there and asking everybody. And the whole country was upset. The king is leaving his kingdom, such a good king. To go with the good king, everyone was happy. So now he is going to give up his kingdom and to his son, and he is renouncing everything and waiting for the death. Came to the Naimisha Aranya. The Aranya is the forest, which is named Naimisha. In the name of Naimisha Rishi, Naimisha Aranya.
No, Nimesh Korana. Vishnu is always looking at things.
Nimesh
means that the eyelid is not for even for a Nimesh. Vishnu's eyelid is not closed. That place is always under Vishnu's constant vision.
Wow. See? So that is the place where Lord God is always keeping his graceful eyes, the auspicious place in the forest. It's called Naimisharanya, and he went there and he was he said, please, don't talk any other mundane words. I only to live only 7 days. And I want to live day and night, think of Krishna, 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 Krishna. So that time the Shukadeva suddenly appeared, and then seeing Shukadeva is a ever-free soul. So seeing him, the king Parikshit respectfully bowed down at his feet and asked for teaching about Krishna's life and glory. So this is the Bhagavatam. It's spoken by Shukadeva. As he described, that was heard by somebody. They're called Shruti Dhar. They can hear and remember. Incredible photographic memory. So they related it afterwards, afterwards, afterwards. And that lineage, we get this entire book. So he's saying now this the king Parikshit is saying, "Oh Shukadev, you have described up just before this reading of the up to seventh chapter, you have described seventh book, you have chapter the line of Swayambhuva Manu, Manu's the story of the Manu and how they rule the country, etc. So, but there are 24. So talk about others. We have also heard how the course of Manu Avatar, the various Prajapatis like Marichi multiplied the species by begetting son and grandsons by the daughters of the Manus. Now tell us about the period of the other Manus, Mano avatars. Second, O great one, describe to us, intent on listening, all those periods of Manus in which had occurred many incarnations of the Almighty Lord Hari, who have been glorified by the sages. So, please tell us the stories of those holy incarnations where God incarnated in many times for the good of the humanity. So, please tell about their glories. My mind will be tuned to the that divine stories. That's called Lila Chinta. When death comes, sometimes high spiritual thought, I am Brahman, will be very difficult to come. That's why personalized thinking, it's the Lila Chintan. This is a very significant word. We are reading this. We can take those ideas. I can understand those ideas a little bit. Swami Premeshananda was one of our great Swami. He used to, but he lived quite a long time. Holy Mother's disciple, and he had a Brahma Jnana, and he has made more than numberless monks were inspired by him uh, to become a monk. Any boys used to come, and potential is there. He wants to renounce and he wants to lead a spiritual life. Our senior Swami used to send to him, and he could look at him, check on him, and can tell and train them to, how to lead a pure spiritual life. So that Swami, when he became old, I saw him very old. So that time, a whole day almost is. That's the old people, very old people, become very tired and sleeping. Physical body wise that. So once is this attendant Swami, he was a brahmachari, not a brahmachari. He joined, like to serve him as a almost brahmachari or brahmachari. So he asked, he has very good relationship with the Premeshananda Maharaj. He asked, Swami, what do you do whole day? He used to talk so much of inspirational discussion before, and how many people got inspired by you. But now you whole day sleep like that, and as if not responding to much of the outward world. What do you do? He said, I mentally go to Dakshineshwar, I go to Kamarpukur, I go to Jairambati, I go to Kashipur Garden House, and I live with the stories of this Ramakrishna. No? So that is the time Leela, it is called the Leela, divine sport, is more pleasing because the mind has not that time. Some people may like Advaita, total non-dual reality, but as I see in his life, he used to ask someone to read. What to read? Puthi. Puthi, Puthi, Ramakrishna Puthi. It is it's a Bengali composition. It has been translated by Amrita Sam, our Amrita in Santa Barbara. But anyhow, that is available. That is a poetic form of the life of Sri Ramakrishna, written when very close after. It was written during Swami Vivekananda read a part of the book, and he highly appraised him for depicting the life of Ramakrishna in a what you call the colloquial language. the village language, so that ordinary people, if they can read and understand. It's called puthi, na? Puthi. Puthi means that type of spiritual
Papyrus.
text.
Papyrus.
Huh?
Papyrus. Written on papyrus kind.
Papyrus, okay. So they used to, people will be gathering around all the even ordinary, not very learned language, sophisticated language, simple language, the village language, so that it runs into the heart of the people. So he describes most of the stories not in a Advaita Vedantic way, but as a sports way, divine sport. God come down and he is behaving this way. It is the significance. God is playing, no? So mind is to. So I saw that what he's saying, describe Sri Hari, who is the originator of the whole universe, how did in earlier Manu he came down and created this universe in one Manu, another Manu, another Manu. Time period, no? Of president, first president, second president, third president, no? In a country's management, presidents go away, one president's rule goes away, another president comes. So similarly, Manus are like avatars, incarnation, how they did it. So did in the earlier Manu avatar is doing in the current one and will do in the Manu avatars to come. So I please tell me how who is ruling now in this present age and how he came down and how in other Manus will be coming in future. See, Shukadeva said, in this kalpa, kalpa means in this cosmic cycle, 6 Manu avatars, beginning with that of the Swayam Bhuva, are over. Now, 6 up to 6 avatars are gone. Now, among these, I have described to you the period of Swayam Bhuva, where it took place the origin of the Devas and other species of beings. Now, in order to strengthen the cause of righteous life, dharma, and the divine knowledge, jnana, the Lord incarnated himself in the two daughters of Manu, named Akuti and Devahuti, as Jagna and Kopila respectively. What are these things? I don't know. Anyhow, 2 ladies were born and 2 children, 2 men and 2 women. So the Lord incarnated himself in the 2 daughters of the Manu, Manu's daughter. One is Akuti, another Devahuti, as Jagna and Kopila respectively. I do not know what is Jagna and Kopila. I have already described to you the doing of the Lord Kopila. I shall now describe to you, O great king, what the worshipful Jagna did. Oh, two daughters, Akuti and Devahuti. Why they are saying this? What the language? The Lord incarnated himself in the 2 daughters of Manu. Their name is Akuti and Devahuti, as Jagna and Kapila, respectively. Tell 4. Anyhow, I have already described to you the doings of the Lord as Kapila. I shall now describe to you, O great king, what the worshipful Jagna did. Swayambhavu Bhuva, the husband of the Satarupa, growing averse to all worldly enjoyments, retired to the forest with his wife Swayambhuva, the husband of Satarupa. Satarupa is the wife. Satarupa, her husband is Swayambhuva, growing averse to the worldly enjoyment. That means they are at the end of the maturity of their life, growing averse to the worldly enjoyments, retired to the forest with his wife, adopting the austere life of Manaprastha. Now, on the bank of the Sunanda river, that time maybe there was a river Sunanda, he performed severe austerities. Who? Swayambhuva. He did tremendous austerity and standing on a single leg, for 100 years and chanted as follows. So he was doing austerity. Austerity is a very popular thing in Hindu culture. In the name of God, they can do so much. But Ramakrishna said, not in our age. We cannot do that austerity. Even our Swami Brahmananda, Shivananda, what the austerity they did, when new generation sadhus used to join, and we will do austerity. Well, what austerity will do? We have done all austerity, we will not be able to do anything. Then modern austerity, one day we don't eat, then our body becomes weak. What austerity shall I do? One night if I cannot sleep, then tomorrow will be more drowsy whole day. So we are not that austerity, it is not possible. But earlier days, more you go back, austerity was severe, severe, severe. In Uttarkashi and Rishikesh, I have heard, in the cold season, they will dip themselves in the snow, snow melted water, deep in them, Bapre Bap, and do japa. Huh? So that is called austerity. So this Swayambhuva, that who retired, his wife and husband, Satarupa is the wife, Swayambhuva is the avatar, Manu avatar, at the third stage of life, retired life, they all went back to do austerity. And in one leg, he stood 100 years, Baba. That's a part of austerity. Just don't do anything, only one leg stand all the time and do japa. Hey, don't do. And in a single leg, standing on a single leg for 100 years and chanted as follows. And standing, not only standing, chanted. What they chanted? He, the Supreme Consciousness, by virtue of whom there is consciousness in the world. What is not only standing, but is chanting these verses. That all pervaded consciousness is who the supreme consciousness, by virtue of whom there is consciousness in you, me, and everywhere, but whom the world does not and cannot make conscious, as he is a Swayam Prakasa, the universal self-luminous awareness, with the world for his object. He who is awake, even when all this world is asleep, him the world does not know, but he knows the world. So he is not standing, but he is chanting, oh, Atma avas Atma vasyam idam vishwam ishavashyam Atma Vashyam, Vashyam means Achyodinyo. Atma Vashyam idam Vishwam Jat Kinchit Jagatyam Jagata. Exactly Vishopanishad. Tena Tyaktena Bunjita Magrida Kasya Siddhanam Yangna Pashyati Pashyantam Chakshur Yasya Narishati Tang Bhuta Nilayang Devam Suparnam Upadhavata. This is highest Vedanta Baba. Now your Manu, Bharat, Dev, all these are now high pitch, taking highest flight of Vedanta. So he Swayambhuva, the Manu, he stood in one leg and was doing austerity and saying this. Atma is saying that the consciousness, for whose consciousness everything is conscious, but whom the world does not know. I am conscious, but I do not know what is the consciousness behind. Because of his consciousness, everyone is conscious. But no one knows the consciousness behind. The whole perspective of Vedantic analysis, no? To find that, who am I? That is the finding that consciousness. So it's the world does not know by whose consciousness this everything is conscious.
But Ishopanishad is significantly older than Bhagavad Puran.
Of course.
So they
Probably that idea.
copied from there.
But anyhow, that is not the point. Point is that it is the same tone, same note, philosophically, idealistically, one consciousness. We see this all these stories of he who got married with whom and this and that, and suddenly, bus, boom. All these stories are only just to keep the mind little distracted to like that, and then think of this. Make conscious the universal self-luminous awareness with the world for its objects. He who is awake, jang na pashyati pashyantam, he who is awake even when all this world is asleep. Him the world does not know, but he knows the world. Najasya adi anto madhyancha sah paranantarang bahi. Wow, beautiful. Vishwasya ahuti jat jasmad vishwang chatadritam mahat. Hare Ram Ram. Bah, very good. I was thinking, how shall I read all this? But he has given all these beautiful ideas here. He who is awake, even when all this world is asleep, the whole world is sleeping, but he is awake always. No, we are not knowing. That is our ignorance. We are asleep. He who is awake, even when all this world is asleep, him the world does not know, but he knows the world. World does not know, but he knows the world. That consciousness knows everything. But we, this manifested, does not know him. Huh? All things of this world, the moving and unmoving objects, are pervaded by the Lord. Everything in this world, therefore, belongs to him. So offering everything to him, enjoy that is left with you by him. Oye. Huh? Siddhanam. Tena taktena bhunjita. You enjoy by renunciation. You experience the bliss by renunciation. Renunciation of the material aspect and entering into the exactly Ishavasya. Shankaracharya has a good commentary on this. So offering everything to him, the Lord, enjoy what is left with you by him. Do not covet the wealth of others. Who else but he is the possessor of all the wealth of this world? No? So this entire world, you see, it is only he is the possessor of the world. 11 verse. 11 verse, not young na pasyativa. He, the universal subject, who sees everything by everything, but whom none can see. He whose consciousness is ever unfailing, even when the individual modes of consciousness arising in subside. In him, the support of all, the unaffected being, who is described as the bird of beautiful plumage, in the Vedas, we seek shelter. So we take shelter in that beautiful plumage. Then the Upanishad says, no? The two birds and story. There is a beautiful upper bird. So he, the universal subject, who sees everything, he sees everything, but none can see him. He whose consciousness is ever unfailing everywhere. When the individual modes of consciousness arising in it subside, in him the support of all, the unaffected being, who is described as the bird of beautiful plumage in the Vedas, we seek shelter. So he is standing and praying, oh Lord, you pervade everything. You are the shining force behind. You see everything, but no one sees you. This type of prayer. You see, austerity and prayer. That's why mere austerity will not do anything. People are fasting. Many people fast for so many reasons. Poor people in the famine time, they could not eat, no food. In Russia, in some period, there is no food. It's standing in line, but supply is so little. Even the child's milk was rationed. So, but that austerity is the same as the austerity we are hearing? No. Not only austerity is not the point. Point connection with God. Thinking and praying to the divine who pervades everywhere. That's Jnana Mishra Bhakti. Now, 12 verses, Najasya Oita. That is, he for whom there is no beginning, there is no middle or end, neither anything to be reckoned as one, its own, or not as alien, neither as inside nor as outside, but who, nonetheless, is the source from which the universe has derived all these features and who stands forth as the universe. That Paramatman is the truth, the all-inclusive being. So, I am Vajay. No, just so Adi, there is no beginning, no Anto, there is no end, Madhya, there is no middle, Paro, who is supreme, no Antaram, who has no in and out. We have in, inside and outside. Inside this hall, outside. There is no in and out. That means he is in, he is also inside, he is also outside, in and out. Sa paro na antarang bahi vishwasya amuni jat jasmad vishwam cha tadat tadritang mahat. He from whom there is no beginning, no middle end, neither anything to be reckoned as one's own, nor as alien, neither as inside, outside, but who, nonetheless, is the source from which the universe has derived. From him the world has come. No? We say Brahman with Maya, this universe has come. So, from which the universe has derived all these features, who stands forth as the universe, that Paramatman is the truth, the all-inclusive. So I salute him. No? Then 13th verse says, he, the Lord of all, is the inner pervader, having the whole universe as his body. He, inner pervader means he has pervaded inside. Is outside, of course, he is there, but he has like a space. It has pervaded my whole body. So space is everywhere. To give an idea how all pervaded God is the only object of worship. So he's saying, he, the Lord of all, is the inner pervader, having the whole universe as the universe is his body. The possessor of infinite names, the truth, the self-revealing consciousness, the being without birth or death, but ever existing. But his inherent power of Maya, he originates, protects, and dissolves countless world systems. Countless world systems. This world is our world, and then they have the clear idea that no, this earth is only one significant dot. Countless worlds are systems are there. Solar system, we call our solar system. So, but at the same time, by his power of knowledge, he transcends Maya. So, by he is with the Maya, he has created this whole universe, this solar systems, how many God knows. But at the same time, by his power of knowledge, he transcends Maya and remains unchanged and unaffected. But he, by his own power, is above Maya. So he is not entangled. So the rishis, for attaining to that bliss of worklessness, that is, there is no work, transcendence. It is like the state of transcending all changes. So that to attain the blissful state of where there is no more actionless, at first do work as an offering to Ishvara. So that is exactly Isha Upanishad. Satadgam Samaha. If you live for 100 years, do work. Right? That truth to reach by karma. You cannot reach the karma-heen state of akarma, just by saying so. I am Brahmanatman. Do work, exhaust your karma, bad karmas, and then transcend it. So he says, at first, do work as an offering to Ishvara. Through such dedicated action, man gradually attains to the transcendence of work. See? Eternal, same value, no? We are saying Swami Vivekananda has brought a new religion. It is the eternal religion. That's why he is promoting that religion. It was hidden. These are all here. But what it matters? People are reading this book for thousands of years, but they don't act accordingly. We are reading this book, we have to act accordingly, that whatever work I am doing, that is for my pleasing the Lord, and it is wiping out my karma. And when it thinks that my karma, then you will be working more. How quickly I can pay off. When you think that I am doing so much karma, oh my God, I have done enough for me. 24 hours, I have done 3 hours work, 8 hours work. I have done enough. No, relentless work. That's why this our spiritual life is said there is no holiday. Constant awareness of God, constant offering of service, constant offering of karma to the Lord God who can free us from all bondage. You know? So dedicated action, man gradually attains the transcendence of God. Actually, I've already time 5 minutes, but I am very excited here. Though the Supreme Lord is working always, he is not bound by it because he is ever satisfied with his inherent bliss. He is not satisfied, dissatisfied. He is happy to do the work. Gita says, see me, I am working day and night. Though I am the Lord of God of the universe, I have no work, but I am doing for just to show that the flow of life it should go. He has no want to be satisfied through work. Those who follow the examples of the Lord will also not fall in bondage. So, if you follow this, you will not be in bondage. I take refuge in the Lord who performs works according to the purpose and nature of his incarnation, who is all knowing, who has no particularization in a ego, who is self satisfied and free from all desires, who has mastery over all, who is not under command of prompting of any other agency, who is the teacher of all pathfinders for all, and who is the source of all dharma. That is that Lord God I am saluting. That is the chapter. This he is praying. Who is praying? Swayam Bhuva, Manu, retiring with his wife, and then in single one leg standing, he's praying all this praise. So we end here, and next day we'll read the verse number 17 onward. Anyhow, see, it is Vedanta book, but it is called Bhakti book. But it is not Bhakti book, it is Bhakti Jnana. So whatever one can take the one aspect, another can take the other aspect. But I am really moved by that. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu. Does Bhagavatam have stories of devotees who practiced Jnanapath, or is it because it's a bhakti scripture and only has bhakti path? And Maharaj, why does Devas want Amrita and go to heaven and they are not looking for merging with Vishnu? Yeah, Bhaktol always wants to be. Devas are not the highest goal. Devas are, as I say, it is a five-star hotel enjoyment. So that is not the goal. Devas do good karma and they'll go to the higher plane. But those who are higher than that, they are the renunciates. They are the monks, sannyasis. They don't care for heaven even. That's why I say, I don't want heaven. I don't want to any, I want you. So they are higher than that. So it is a step. And another, this Jnana path is not a separate path. But you see what I did today, it is all Jnana. There is nothing else but Jnana, Jnana, Jnana. Okay? Thank you. Or if you have any question, you can ask me in the next class at 7:30. Thank you.